Firstly, Chair, we appreciate as COSATU our invitation to this conference. We believe, Chair, that our relationship with the ANC is premised from an understanding that trade unions are not political organizations, but can be a platform from which to draw the required political muscle to advance the struggle for the poor and the working class. That is why Chair Lenin once said, and I quote, "Trade union organizations not only can be of tremendous value in developing and consolidating the economic struggle, but can also become a very important auxiliary to political agitation and revolutionary organization," close quote. Chief Albert Luthuli, Chair, once said at the launch of SACTU in 1955, and I open quotes, "I am glad that South African Congress of Trade Unions, SACTU in brackets, has not listened to the ill advice that they should not be interested in politics. There is an African saying that if you are pricked by a thorn, you will also have to use a thorn to get it out. Workers are oppressed by political action. They must take political action in reply," close quote. That is why, Chair, we are always part of the struggles of the masses to liberate the poor and the working class. Xa sawuhlala phansi sihlalo, zintoni which are the immediate tasks of the leadership ezawungena? Comrade Tatu Mandela once warned about the danger of what may seem as a revolutionary solutions, which will deliver long-awaited solutions immediately, when he said that the struggle that will free us is a long, hard job. Do not be deceived by men who talk big with no thought for tomorrow. Freedom is not just a matter of strong words. Neither is it simple brave men and heroic deeds. Impatience which make men lose their heads will not bring freedom. In our 36 years of existence as COSATU, we've always been guided by these wise words. As you get out of this conference, there are principal issues that we must always think about. Mao always says it is important not to create enemies in the house of friends, but it is always important to attract friends from the enemy camp to our fold. We know, Chairperson, that this is not a meeting of political opponents, but this is a meeting of leaders and members of the ANC ezidityaniswa into enye ingcinezelo under a capitalist mode of protection. We must never at any stage, Chairperson, either by design or by action, use this conference to bury ANC in the Eastern Cape. But we must use this conference to share ideas in moving forward the struggle of the people in this province. Zengathwa Chair xa kuchayelwa apha ngecawe kuchayelwe ne-African National Congress. Because through our deeds and our actions, umbutho siwushiye up. We want to make sure that the ANC will respond to the immediate task at hand. One of those tasks is to make sure that abantu bakuthi baphila ubomi obungcono, led by the African National Congress. One of those tasks is that going to the National Congress, the Eastern Cape is united. One of those tasks is to make sure that the ANC is an agent of change to bring about social justice to the poor and the working class. One of those tasks is that abasebenzi kweliphondo nakwelizwe are under siege from the government and employees that are led by the ANC. as we've seen with the last implementation of collective agreement 1 of 2018, which was not implemented by leaders that we voted for as workers under the leadership of the African National Congress. Asihlala phansi sihlalo ANC mayihambe yo addressa ezinto zilandelayo. It must deal with the issue of informal economy and local procurement. It must deal with the promotion of youth employment. It must deal with fighting crime and corruption. Eastern Cape has become a capital of killings, whether they are political or what. One of the resolutions that must be taken by this conference is that how do we confront the scourge of killings that are taking place in the left and right and center of our province. Chair, sifuna ukuthi kule nhlanganiso xa sivalayo sihlalo, for any revolution to proceed, there must be people who consciously choose to sacrifice and put the interests of the revolution above everything. The challenge we have today, Chair, is that such people have become rare to find. Chair, sifuna ukuthi xa sivala sonke apha, we must become agents of social change. Siyiguqule yethu intando ifane noyombutho. Kusuke konke ukuxoxa kwenzeka intando yombutho. Amandla.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kunene. We will now call upon the South African Communist Party. Comrade Tutu Sizeka, you've got the wrong bag. Please contact Comrade Machele, who has your bag. Look at Comrade Tutu Sizeka, you've got the wrong bag. Please contact Comrade Machele from Jokabi, who has your bag. We're now pete iyakhe. Thank you very much. Comrade Nat.
Mandla, viva ANC, viva! Viva SSCP, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva Sanko, viva! Watindu mama! Watindi mbogoto! Thank you, Comrade Chairperson, Program Director, members of the National Executive Committee that are here, the veterans of our movement, the provincial leadership of the ANC as led by Comrade Mabuyane, the leadership of the party, the leadership of COSATU, of Sanko, the Youth League, the Young Communist League, the leadership of Sanko present here. Abantwana begazi abakoyo apha, bahlekazi bami. Lo nto ngathi basenkundleni ngoku. Abahlekazi bami abakoyo apha. Abefundisi abakoyo apha. Emveni komthandazo obuvulwa apha, ndiye ndaya kubafundisi bethu bobabini ndo babamba izandla. Ndathi lento bayithethe apha ilanto yayimelwe nguYesu, kwaye lento bayithethe apha ilento imelwe ngamakomanisi. Lento bayithethe apha bubungqina, that in the ethical content of both Marxism and religion there is convergence. So akhondo siphikisana ngayo kwento bazithethayo apha. Ndiyabulela kakhulu egameni lamabomvu ngomthandazo. Dear Comrade Convener and Comrade Delegates, our revolution and our country is on the edge of a cliff. As we gather here today in our hundreds, our country and our province and our people are placing their hopes to this province. The hopes to break away from the shackles of poverty, unemployment and inequality. Ingakumbi thina sikhokela kwezo zinto zentsola msebenzi siyi-province. We carry the hopes of the entire movement to renew and serve its purpose. The purpose of our movement has nothing to do with corruption. The purpose of our movement has nothing to do with factionalism. The purpose of our movement has got nothing to do with self-serving leaders preoccupied to enrich themselves, their families, and their friends. This movement is the only organization called the Parliament of the People, Umbutho Wabantu. It is precisely because it is an instrument to change their conditions, the conditions of the people. It carries the hopes of those who are in the rural areas. Those in the rural areas, those in the townships, in the farms, those in various sites and sectors of society. Those who were consulted when the demands of the Freedom Charter were collected, which they indicated what kind of a South Africa would they want to see. We wish to take this opportunity to pledge our solidarity with the farm workers in the Sanders River, the citrus farms, who are facing super exploitation in the hands of farmers in the area. And some of them were exploited by the beneficiaries of BEE, who have captured some of the land reform beneficiary farms. So land reform beneficiary farms, farm owners who are supposed to be owners, have been turned into modern day slaves in the farms that they are supposed to be their own. We pledge our solidarity with their struggles to get better working conditions. We stand here to pledge our solidarity with the mine workers in Rustenburg, Sibanye, Stillwater Mine, who are struggling for a living wage, who are demanding a mere 1,000 rand annual increase in the face of their CEO, who received 300 million in 2021 as an individual. We said their demands are genuine demands. We wish to take this opportunity to pledge our solidarity with them. Comrades, we pledge our solidarity with the people who are in the municipalities, the workers in the municipalities, the public sector unions, where our government reneged in a bargaining agreement. We pledge our solidarity with the municipal workers who at times are butchered by some who claim to be their own leaders and their own representatives. We are here at the SSCP today that we must ensure that we come out of this conference and build a more unified African National Congress. Let us ensure that we struggle to lower the cost of living for our own people. That there must be a balance, Comrade Chair. Our leadership must not be preoccupied to lower the cost of business, to do business in our country only. They must be preoccupied at the same time to lower the cost of living for our people. What is underway in our country is a crisis of social reproduction, where households are unable to meet their basic needs because of the high cost of living and because of the decline of wages of workers over these past few years. We're urging quite very strongly that in order for us to move forward as a country, there are two twin dangers that as a movement we must defeat. That the first danger we must defeat is the state capture network that has caused criminal network that has caused all the damage in our country, looted public resources and enriched themselves illegally. We must defeat that agenda because it is against the agenda of renewal. Iwelelayo, which equally we must defeat, is the agenda of neoliberalism that is locking our country into a semi-colonial growth path that reproduces these inequalities that we face. It is high time, comrades. The current growth path is not working for the majority. The signs are there. We have seen the July unrest. We have seen the outcomes of the local government elections. We have seen the protest in Rustenburg where our leadership could not speak to workers. All those are indication that the current economic path is not working for the majority. In order for us to renew, it is the precondition that the economic indicators that are currently in place that our leadership are targeting debt must be changed. The economic indicators must target the creation of jobs, target to ensure that we close the gap of inequality in our own country. These are important things for us to go forward. The issue of the public servants, this is a serious warning. History is full of examples. Once public servants are no longer loyal to a government, to a sitting government, that government sooner or later will be out of power. So these are the warnings that the movement must take seriously. We must change the economic direction even if some of the leaders are benefiting, so that the majority can benefit. We must defeat the state capture network, because no ANC can build a unified country led by the state capture network who have looted our country. We stand here as the SSCP agreeing that all of our formations have got their own weaknesses. That is why all of us who are in the path for renewal, because we have got our own weaknesses. We come in here to stand that, please, comrades, don't throw away the achievements that this African National Congress has made in the past few years. Don't come to this Congress and split the achievements that we have made. It is important that you come off this Congress building on what we have achieved. It is important that this Congress must deliver to the millions waiting there for a more unified African National Congress. As the SSCP, Comrade Chair, we're confident that with an African National Congress that is not anti-working class, with the African National Congress that is not anti-organized workers, with an African National Congress that is not anti-communist, with an African Congress that appreciates these as part of this broad movement, we're likely to make a decisive march forward. This is quite very important. That is why, as the SSCP, we want to underline it, as I said, Comrade Chair. The allies, the SSCP and COSATU and SANCO, cannot be guests in a Congress of the African National Congress. We are strategic allies, not guests. It's quite important that that is underlined, because it is only when the ANC brings these together that it becomes this broad movement that it is. It has the strength. Once we begin to treat ourselves that way, we're weakening the movement. In the same message which was given here by the National Chair, that if we split ourselves into pieces, we are weaker. But if we come together as one movement, we are quite stronger. We wish this Congress every success. Let's unify to defeat any other steps that seeks to undermine its success. Amanda, viva the unity of the ANC, viva! Amanda!
Thank you very much, Nopal. Comrades, the time now is 2:10. Kaibambe, comrade. Comrade Kaibambe, please. Thank you. The time now is 2:10. We have to take a lunch break for 1 hour. We will be back at, the time now is 14:10. We'll be back seated here at 15:15. Is anyone going to explain from you? Comrade Ngok. Uzasichazela ilunch bayihamba njani? Hayi. Yintoni, Comrade Nqo? Awuthe awunayithetha xa sibuya loo nto. Is anyone going to give us direction